Hiya! Welcome to LSB Feasters radio channel, where we keep great radio from the past alive. Today we're going to New York City and Imus in the morning. Imus was crotchety, Imus was cantankerous, but at times Imus was really funny. Imus was a very interesting listen throughout the years. Imus in the morning started out in California, eventually worked its way to New York in 1971, and it ran for years and years and years, well, with a little bit of time off for good behavior back in 1977. But 1979, Imus came back to New York, did his thing, and eventually, even as the station changed from top 40 to sports, when it was sold, Imus stayed with the station. When WFAN let him go, he eventually worked his way over to WABC, and that's where he ended his career. And while he was there in the final several days of the show, he really opened up about himself, about his family, about the history of the show itself. And it was some fascinating and sometimes just tough listening, especially when we would talk about things like his brother Fred dying and his split with Charles McCord and other things that happened through the years. So we're going to share another air check from Imus's final days on 77 WABC New York.
We can't burn the house down.
I got people texting me questions for Imus. I'm dead serious. You want this next one?
Sure.
Howard Stern. In his movie, he claims, at least he depicted, when he came to meet you in the office, you slammed the door in his face, basically, and said, F you, get out of my face, blah, blah, blah. And he's never really forgiven you for that since then. Is that true?
I don't think it is, but it could be.
Was that true, though, the way they depicted that in the movie? You basically, dismissed him?
I don't think so, but maybe I did. You know, I was drinking a lot then. Right. I mean, I'm not using that as an excuse, but I was drunk all the time. In those days, man, I'd coked up. So, because I stopped doing cocaine June 1st, coincidentally, 1983.
Wow.
And I stopped doing drinking vodka July 17th, 1987. So, I'm not copping out. I'm just saying, Howard may be right. I could have been.
Who knows?
I could have been drunk or coked up or both. And I'm positive. I'm sure it was. So. It is. We're painfully behind, and Sid has convinced me we're going to do for the next until I leave. Well, that's what I mean. Once in a while, we will do where I'll go just like I did then. I'll tell you about KUTY in Palmdale and KXOA, and then we'll talk about what else was I talking about then?
All that stuff.
All that stuff.
Awesome.
The whole
awesome.
Evolution.
Absolutely.
I've got
to New York.
I've got there's a number of things, and as I start to thinking about it, I start remembering stuff. You know.
Yeah.
And
like I think people want to know, even before you got to NBC, when Charles and Bernie and Lou and all these and Rob all hopped on, like, what was your show before that? Just you? Did you
it was me screaming, doing Hargis and all the other characters.
Right.
Crazy Bob and Judge Hangin and a bunch of other stuff, and Brother Love and all that.
Praise God.
And playing rock and roll records.
Right. There was no sidekick. There was no.
Well, not really, no. Except the giant frog, Brian Byrne, he was kind of a sidekick, I guess. So, I got a great story about 1,200 hamburgers to go that I'll tell you.
Here we go.
That I'll tell you. When will I tell you that?
Oh, that's great.
Well, I'll tell you that before I go. God, it's a great story.
Yeah.
Laura. Program, Big Star Talk Radio and Fox News. Laura Ingram. Good morning, Miss Ingram.
Hi, man. How are you? I love you. It's good
What's
to talk
going on?
to you.
What's going on, baby?
I'm just getting ready to get on a train to go to New York.
Hey, when we first started having you on, those many years ago, who was the guy we had on with you?
A guy named Eric Liu, Liu, and it was in August of 1996 during the Republican national convention in San Diego. You saw me debating him. I had just gotten hired because MSNBC had just started, and I guess you saw me debating him. He's a nice guy, young kid, and I don't know. You thought something was funny about it, and so you called me up, and I said, well, "Who called me?" Like, Imus wants you on the show. I'm like, "Hello, yeah." So that was it.
Well, who? Are you sure it was him?
Yeah. Yep. And
Whatever happened to that boy?
I'm not sure what happened to him. I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
He doesn't have a show on Fox.
Oh, well.
Congratulations on that one.
Thank you. It's fun. I'm having a good time.
I look at those ratings all the time when that Adweek deal. You're killing them. Man, it's
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. I like you a lot, but we all do. So.
Thanks.
So, this stock market situation, I talked to Carla McShane about this morning. There's some speculation that the Fed wants this to happen. What do you think?
Well, I thought it was interesting that the former Fed chair, Yellen, said recently that, she thought the dollar was too strong. Well, so she said the dollar was too strong. A lot of people, I imagine, in the financial sector think that's a sign that, if she's saying that, the former Fed chair, they're probably going to hike up interest rates faster than we thought. And that, in combination with the fact that the market had gone up about 7% just in the month of January. I mean, you do the math. If the market goes up 7% in 1 month, it's certainly not going to go up 7 times 12 in 1 year. It's not going to be up 84%. So it's fairly obvious to me that the market was going to have a pullback. Now, I'm not a financial person, but that's why when you're president, you shouldn't hinge it all on the stock market because up and down, up and down. But Donald Trump has repeatedly said, well, the market's high. Well, it is, but then when it's not, you get CNN, Wolf Blitzer, and Joe Forehead over at MSNBC, they get all thrilled and they're giddy. See, Forehead and Wolfie are giddy when bad news happens to the financial markets because anything that's bad news for the economy is good news for the never-Trumpers. So they're thrilled anytime bad news happens.
It's really a sad state, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you want people to actually cheer for the country's success, but from Nancy Pelosi, they're crumbs. Those bonuses are crumbs. That's what I spend on a night out, even without an appetizer. Oh no, she's a.
That is such a great impression. First of all, I'm not sucking up to it. It actually is a good impression.
Well, Wolf, as an ardent practicing Catholic, I can tell you, I'm a grandmother and a great grandmother of 43 children.
And you know what a prick I am. I'd delight in telling you it wasn't. So, I forget what else I was going to ask you, but something else about the market, but well, maybe not. Now, you were a lawyer, our lawyer, and clerked at the Supreme Court. You probably know this, for Justice Thomas.
Yep.
And so you perhaps are doing better than most. And my question is, should my Trump, Blubbered as I call him, should he submit to an interview with Robert Mueller?
Absolutely not. There is no way any lawyer would allow any client to walk into that snare. And again, Forehead and people like that are out there this morning saying, they think Donald Trump is too stupid. He's trying to goad the president into going in. They're too stupid to answer questions. And, they think he's dumb and he can't even answer simple questions from the special counsel. No. Here's the problem. The special counsel their office has not established any serious predicate that an underlying crime had been committed to even justify this investigation, number one. So unless they are going to provide some information that severely narrows any line of questioning that is going to take place, and only if there is a clear understanding of what the underlying criminal act or predicate would be, I would never advise a client. I was a white-collar criminal defense attorney. I would never advise a client to walk into that, ever. And there's a reason that Lawrence Walsh, who was the independent counsel during Iran-Contra, they agreed with Reagan's lawyers to submit questions in writing. That's about the only thing I would agree to, and only that would be agreed to if it was a narrow scope. This investigation, Imus, is now officially, from what I know today, is an investigation in search of a crime. That is terrifying because they can put almost anybody.
Yeah, they'll find something,
and they will find a way to say. And they'll say, "Well, Mr. President, do you ever remember meeting Carter Page?" And I interviewed Carter Page last night on my show. Well, no, I never met Carter Page. Well, that's funny because we have an email that was sent 3 years ago that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, so that's how they.
What do you predict Trump will do?
I don't think they're going to send him in there. I do think they might open the door for allowance of written interrogatories, which is much more appropriate for a sitting president of the United States anyway. So that's what I imagine they will do. But I don't have any inside knowledge on that. But and the biggest mistake would be for the president to start thinking he can be his own lawyer. He might be able to be his own press secretary, but he's not his own lawyer. That is a very dangerous position to be in. So I certainly hope not.
How are you otherwise?
I'm good. I'm a little sleep deprived, but I'm good. I'm still doing my radio show 9 to noon on East Coast time, and I have my show 10 to 11, so you do the math on that. That's a little...
Yeah, I was going to ask you how the kids are doing.
Who?
The kids. I get it.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you this. It's a wonder what a carton of Marlboros, a fifth of gin, and the Wall Street Journal. The kids practically raise themselves.
It's 12 minutes till the hour. The great Laura Ingram, and she is here on the Imus of the Morning program. Got some Beatles for you.